Employee of the Villages was injured in an attack at Spanish Springs Town Square. A villager who had been drinking was accused of making a bomb threat on an airline. Villager was sentenced to 10 years in prison on child pornography charges. A renter was sentenced in a 2023 road rage incident. A Spruce Creek resident reports that a landscaper ripped him off for $750. How many holes wins of golf to get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Thanks everybody for coming to this week's News Updated. This was on last week's news, this lady here, for another drunk episode in the Villages somewhere. And now she's been arrested for making a bomb threat on a commercial airline. A villager arrested this past weekend in a hit-and-run crash at the square had been arrested earlier this year after allegedly making a bomb threat at a busy airport. Rebecca Jane Phillips, 67, of the village of St. Charles, was released Monday night from the Sumter County Detention Center following her arrest one day earlier after her Lincoln MKZ struck a parked golf cart at City Fire at Lake Sumter Landing. Phillips reportedly staggered away in search of a drink, but was tracked down thanks to a witness who reported a hit-and-run crash. She is facing charges including driving under the influence and hit-and-run. It has now come to light that Phillips was arrested this past July at Dallas Love Field. Phillips had been escorted off the Southwest Airlines flight headed for Orlando after it was determined she was in an intoxicated state. After she was already off the plane, she inquired about her luggage. She was told she would need to retrieve it at her destination. Apparently frustrated, Phillips told members of the flight crew, "Well, there's a bomb on it. How about that? Can you take off now?" Following the threat, Dallas police deboarded the plane, evacuated the gate and two restaurants near the gate, and diverted flights from nearby gates, according to local press reports. Explosive Ordnance Disposal was contacted and responded to the scene and cleared the bag. The threat caused the flight to Orlando to be delayed by about 2 and 3 hours. The affidavit said Phillips was booked at the Dallas County Jail on felony terrorist threat charges. The Texas native purchased her home in 2024 in the Oviedo Villas in the village of St. Charles. Another village idiot. A villager has been sentenced to 10 years in state prison on child pornography charges. Gary Paul Slinsinski, 71, of the village of Sanibel, pleaded no contest to multiple charges related to child pornography on Monday in Sumter County Court. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison with credit for 5 months and 7 days already served in the Sumter County Jail. Slinsinski was originally arrested on March 2023 after Sumter County Sheriff's Office detectives served a search warrant at his home at 856 Abaca Path in the village of Sanibel. He was arrested again in August of 2023 after discovery of more pornographic images. Detectives assigned to child exploitation investigations and who are members of the Internet Crimes Against Children Federal Task Force received information that an individual residing at the home was distributing child pornography, including an image of a child who appeared to be under the age of 10. After 3 months of investigation, probable cause was developed to obtain a search warrant. Sumter detectives ultimately found over 300 multimedia files depicting children pornography, including some of the children under 4 years of age. On the electronic devices, they were seized from Slinsinski's home. The Connecticut native admitted he had used his laptop and cell phone to obtain and view the images. He had used the search term jailbait, teen, and young when searching for images. Slinsinski and his wife purchased their home in the Villages in 2012. They put it into a trust following his arrest. I could be your neighbor. Let's see. Here's some more Villages child pornography people that live here. A child pornography investigation led to the arrest of a resident of the village of Pine Hills. The Freedom Park Police Department announced that 61-year-old Patrick Kreplin was arrested on a warrant Thursday for 17 counts of possession of child pornography and 17 counts of transmission of pornography by electronic device. Kreplin, who moved to the Villages from Wisconsin, is currently being held at the Lake County Jail with a $119,000 bond. His arrest followed an intensive investigation by the Fruitland Park Police Department and the Central Florida Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force aimed at combating the exploitation of children. In May, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received information from the social media provider that one of their account holders uploaded child pornography to their account. The cyber tip was forwarded to the local police. Anyone with information about these types of cases or other incidents to come forward and report it to the ICAC Task Force or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's Cyber Tip Line website or call 1-800-843-5678. An employee of the Villages was injured in an attack at Spanish Springs Town Square. The female staffer suffered a bleeding injury Wednesday night when she attempted to intervene in an incident at the square, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. Doris Melissa Malo Thomas, who walks around this world with 4 names, 35 of Bellevue, was intoxicated and bothering other individuals at the square. Thomas was stumbling and having difficulty maintaining her balance. Therefore, the staffer went to check on Thomas's status. The staffer was standing between Thomas and a chair when Thomas grabbed the staffer's arm. Thomas would not let go of the staffer's arm, prompting a male bystander to get involved. He had to prise Thomas's hands off of the staffer's arm. The staffer suffered a minor bleeding injury. Police responded to the scene. Thomas was arrested on a charge of battery. She was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Let's have some more news. An Ocala man with a suspended license was arrested in the Villages after being stopped in an unregistered and uninsured vehicle. An officer observed 55-year-old William Droz Hansford driving a red Dodge Durango in the Marsh Bend area of the Villages around 2 p.m. Tuesday, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. A check of the tag revealed it was not assigned to a vehicle and expired on August 16, 2019. The revalidation decal read April 2026. Seeing this, the officer stopped Hansford and asked for his license, registration, and insurance. He advised that he did not have a license on his persons. He had also bought the vehicle a month ago and did not have a bill of sale, nor did he get any liability insurance, the report said. Hansford mentioned having an Indiana driver's license, which the officer ran through dispatch. He learned Hansford's Indiana license had been suspended for failure to file financial responsibility on October 20, 2023. His Florida license was suspended too, for multiple failures to pay court obligations and traffic fines dating back to May 2022. The New York native was subsequently arrested on charges of fail to register a motor vehicle, fail to have motor vehicle liability insurance, operate motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and driving while license suspended. He was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center and bond was set at $950. I'd get that in cash if I was you. An Ocklawaha landscaper has been arrested after allegedly ripping off a Dale Webb Spruce Creek Golf and Country Club resident who paid him $750. On September 15th, a 77-year-old Spruce Creeker reported that he was victim of theft, according to the arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He had hired 58-year-old Alan James Deason to do some landscaping work at his residence on August 16th, but he never came back to do the work or refunded the money. The resident explained he agreed to pay $750 up front for the cost of the materials. When the job was done, he would pay Deason an additional $750 for a total price of $1,500. He wrote a cashier's check for $750 on August 17th, which Deason cashed later the same day. Over the next few weeks, Deason did not return to complete the work. He claimed he needed to take care of his father, who had recently fallen ill, but he would try to do the work very soon, the report said. On August 29th, the resident emailed Deason and asked for a refund because he has not come back to do any work. He replied by saying he would refund the money in a timely manner. When asked what a timely manner was, he did not answer. You're asking the right questions, though. Deason had not replied to the Spruce Creeker since September 2. He also did not refund the money or started working. The resident emailed him again on September 12th, saying he would seek criminal charges if he did not refund the money. He still did not reply, the report said. So on October 8th, a detective spoke to Deason about the incident over the phone. He advised that the day after the resident paid the $750, he asked Deason for a credit for some of the plants. The resident wanted to lower their agreed-upon price of $1,500 due to a neighbor coming over and doing some of the work Deason was paid to do. Deason stated he would not lower the price because that was not how he worked. Due to this disagreement, he decided to keep the $750 as a deposit and no longer work with the resident. The detective asked Deason if he had a contract for this incident, to which he stated he would not be willing to work with law enforcement, but would retain everything he needed for his attorney. He said several times during the conversation that the situation was he said, she said, only a civil matter or hearsay before the detective could ask him any questions about the agreement between him and the resident. The detective told the incident could be civil or criminal in nature depending on the facts of the case. However, he kept speaking over the detective. He stated he did nothing wrong and the matter could not be criminal. He also refused to provide his attorney's name or contact information. Because he don't have an attorney. People are always saying that. Deason mentioned buying materials for the job as well, but did not elaborate. At no point did he ever mention delaying the job because his father was ill or that he intended to pay the resident back. In fact, according to him, he only ended the agreement because the resident asked for a discount. He was ultimately arrested on Wednesday on a warrant charging him with fraud, cheating or gross fraud, and larceny, $300 to $10,000 from persons 65 years of age or older. He was transported to the Marion County Jail. Bond was set at $5,000. That's okay. Just call your attorney. He'll bail you out of jail, right? An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested after being stopped without a license for the third time. An officer observed 34-year-old Samuel Jeso Torres of Lady Lake driving a white van east of Spring Lake Road around 9:55 p.m. Friday, according to the Rush Department of Fruitland Park Police Department. The vehicle then rolled through a stop sign and turned onto U.S. Highway 27 and 441, leading to a traffic stop near the intersection with American Lane. Jeso Torres handed over his Mexican passport, which was used to determine he had never been issued an ID card or a driver's license. His driving history showed 2 prior convictions for no driver's license, never had one, on December 13, 2021 in Marion County and June 11, 2024 in Lake County. The investigation concluded he was aware of his license status, the report said. The native of Mexico was arrested on a charge of driving with no license, never had one. He was transported to Lady Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. He was also arrested last year in Lake County for driving without a license. I know, everything here says he's illegal, but they let him go. So I can only assume that they know something that's not reported here and he's okay to be here. That's all I can tell you, because I don't know. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a hold on a man from Mexico who was stopped without a license at 7-Eleven. A deputy observed 34-year-old Abelardo Guerrero Diaz driving a red Chevrolet Silverado in Oxford at 8:15 a.m. Sunday, according to the Rush Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A check of a tag revealed the vehicle's registration was expired as of September the 11th. Seeing this, the deputy stopped the vehicle at 7-Eleven located at 11670 U.S. 301. Guerrero Diaz did not have any identification on his person or in the vehicle at the time. He had never had a driver's license in the United States, only Mexico, the report said. A check of his information through dispatch confirmed there was no record of him, including no record of a driver's license, the report said. Guerrero Diaz was subsequently arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license and issued a written warning for an expired registration. He was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center where bond was set at $1,000 and ICE put a hold on him. A roofer who initially damaged a villager's home has been placed on probation. Geraldo Gonzalez Jr., 51 of Mount Dora, pleaded no contest this past week in Sumter County Court to a charge of criminal mischief. He had been placed on probation for 6 months. A woman living in the village of Amelia in August 2024 began checking with local roofing companies for an evaluation of her roof, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Eustace Roofing Company told her that her roof looked good and had approximately 10 years of life left. Skylight Roofing told her that her roof was older but didn't need to be replaced right away. Batterby Roofing, I called them also for my roof. Batterby Roofing conducted an inspection and told her that her roof was older and would need to be replaced very soon. A villager acting on the advice of a realtor also contacted Gonzalez. She was under the impression he worked for a roofing company. Gonzalez told her that her roof was heavily damaged. He sent her 14 photos showing the extensive damage. He told her that the damage would be covered by an insurance claim. The villager contacted two of the companies that had previously inspected her roof and did not find the damage. They had photos that showed her that the roof had not suffered any significant damage prior to the inspection by Gonzalez. One of the roof inspectors told the deputy that in his 16 years of experience, he had never seen that kind of damage inflicted during a normal inspection. He said the only logical explanation was that it was caused intentionally in an attempt to generate business by encouraging the homeowner to file an insurance claim. Listen, be careful who you hire around here. Just be careful. Anything you can imagine happens with a contractor. No license. They're illegal. They're a felon that just got out and they're looking to make some money. All kinds of stuff. Just be careful. And just because a realtor says use this person or that person, double check anyway. A renter driving a BMW has been sentenced after firing a gun during a 2023 road rage incident at Magnolia Plaza in the Villages. Jeffrey Thane Whitmore, 68, has pleaded no contest in Sumter County Court to charges of discharging a firearm in public, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and leaving the scene of an accident. He has been placed on probation for 4 years. Whitmore, who was driving on a Virginia driver's license and listed an address at a rented patio villa in the Cape Villas in the village of Marsh Bend, was at the wheel of a gray BMW sport utility vehicle on December 5, 2023, when he deliberately ramming the back of a red Jeep driven by a 38-year-old man, according to a arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. The man driving the Jeep said he had left the 7-Eleven at the Magnolia Plaza and pulled up to the nearby stoplight. The BMW deliberately rammed the back of the Jeep, and then the BMW sped away. A witness indicated the Jeep had cut in front of the BMW. It's always nice to get both sides of a story. The driver of the Jeep began following the BMW in an attempt to obtain the license plate number. The BMW driver held up a gun and fired 2 shots in the direction of the Jeep. The driver of the Jeep pulled into the parking lot and nearby Grace Tabernacle. Police officers and EMS responded to the scene, and the driver of the Jeep was highly emotional and had trouble calming down, the report said. He said he felt the rounds from the gun pass by his vehicle. The officer went to work and found that the same vehicle had been involved in a road rage incident in 2023 in Sarasota County. Sarasota County law enforcement have been unable to find the vehicle. Officers went to Whitmore's rented villa in the Villages, but were unable to find him. Police used FaceLogix to assemble a photo lineup, and the man driving the Jeep picked Whitmore out of the lineup. He was arrested on Valentine's Day of this year after turning himself in at the Sumter County Detention Center. I don't know where they come from, people. I just don't, but I know they're here. Well, let's see how many holes in ones of golf we got this week. 3. Holly Ellis moved to the Villages from Virginia, purchasing a house earlier this year in the village of Hadley. She started playing golf this past spring. On Sunday, she got her first hole-in-one at hole number 7 at Redfish Run Executive Golf Course. She scored the lucky ace at 75 yards with a 7-iron. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Holly. A Village of Moultrie Creek golfer was thrilled after getting his first hole-in-one. Rob Brothers scored the lucky ace on Tuesday, October 14th at hole number 7 at the Gray Fox Executive Golf Course. It was 124 yards and he used his gap wedge. Well, congratulations on your first hole-in-one there, Rob. Steve Dance of the village of St. James was so happy to get his first ever hole-in-one on Wednesday, October 15th at the Glenview Tally-Ho Golf Course at hole number 7 from 98 yards out using an 8-iron. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Steve. Okay, how about everybody's favorite letters to the editor? I'm only going to read a couple of them today. To the editor, excuse me, but don't the gates open automatically when you leave the villages? I think the same system for entering would not create a problem. That's sent in by Larry Gillard from the village of Sable Chase. Well, Larry, I got to agree. The big talk about changing the gates, making them automatic coming in or going out, and doing away with the red button. Also, they're talking about changing the cards to go into to get into the villages or to make the gates rise. Putting them kind of like a sun pass thing on your car now, to where you pull up to the gate, it reads it and it opens the gate automatically. But that same card, because you're going to get issued a new gate card, they're talking about applying that to swimming pool areas, pickleball courts, where you have to have that card to unlock the gate to go in to any of the amenities. Will this work? I say no. It's not going. It may slow things down, but it's not going to stop it. But anyway, thanks for your letter to the editor. It's common sense, right? It's not going to cause a problem. Some people say automatic gates are going to cause a problem. Well, it will in one way. The golf carts have to cross back there. And unless everybody is watching what they're doing, there could be a problem. To the editor, as of September 25, 2025, open carry became legal in Florida. A person can now carry a firearm anywhere. I'm not sure that's 100% true, but we'll go along with that, including government buildings or government-owned outdoor areas in the state, as well as any privately owned business, unless they opt out. Yeah, I'll go say he's wrong there, because it's a privately owned business. A private person with their own business has a right to set the rules for their store, even though it's open to the public. Walmart can have a sign saying no firearms inside our buildings, and you have to go by it. So, okay. So what does this mean for
Florida's friendliest hometown?
Well, imagine someone having consumed one too many at the town square, and that someone is openly carrying a firearm when he or she spies someone wearing a t-shirt with a saying he doesn't like. What could possibly go wrong? So just to be clear, according to the village's administration, open carry is allowed everywhere in public facilities in the villages. But what about privately owned businesses, stores, and services in the villages, like doctor's offices? The owner can place a sign on the door stating firearms are not allowed. And that, thankfully, is perfectly legal. What about grocery stores? Well, Publix is a place where shopping is no longer a pleasure. Their corporate office at phone number 863-688-1188 confirmed that open carry is allowed in all of their Florida stores. But happily, we have lots of other choices where open carry is not allowed. In fact, every other major grocery store in the villages area, Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, Aldi, Winn-Dixie, Target, Sprouts, BJ's, does not allow open carry. Grocery shopping is intimidating enough given the skyrocketing prices, without having to be on the lookout for someone with a gun. By the way, interestingly, neither the villages nor Publix allow their employees to open carry. Go figure. That's sent in by Marcia Shearer from the village of Bel Air. Well, Marcia, nothing is ever 100% perfect. I personally have no problem with open carry. I look at gun as a major responsibility of the gun owner. The state could tighten things up if they wanted to. I wouldn't have any objections if they did. Class, learning, even some of the legalities of carrying a gun here in the state of Florida. They did the same thing with marijuana when they made it legal, of certain things you have to do. Do you have to have this? You have to go here. You have to go there. You can't carry them around in your car. You can't chew gummies while driving a car. I mean, they had all these rules in place when they did that. So here in the state of Florida for open carry, I personally have no problem with it. I personally am kind of for it. In most situations, there might be one or two situations where I'm not too sure about. Schools. They're talking about having armed employees, arming the teachers to have guns for school shootings and things. I'm on the fence on that. I'm not totally against it, but I'm not totally for it. I'm just thinking totally about safety of the kids, and I'm not too sure. Bullets ricochet, things happen. So I get your point, but I don't know if I 100% agree with it. I'm on the fence on it. But I do appreciate your letter, though. Thank you very much. It gives a lot of other people things to think about for their state. We do it here, you may do it there. Or you may see what we do that you don't like, so you won't vote for that there. So, good information. Appreciate it. Well, I think that's going to be it for this week's news. I do appreciate each and every one of you for coming to the news every Friday and watching. If you want to support the channel, the easiest and best way to support this channel is to watch it. That's the number one thing, is to watch it. And if you want to do anything else, go down to the store. I got a few items down there that you can purchase. We get a percentage of what you buy, not much, but we get a little bit from there. Coffee cups and things like that. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can become a Patreon member. Or you become a YouTube member. I keep forgetting those guys, but they're important. And for a monthly fee, the Patreon starts at $2 a month and goes up from there. And then I think YouTube starts at $5. There's been some controversy that I've heard about saying, no, it's $6.99. Well, if you have an iPhone, I just want you guys to know, iPhone done this. It has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with YouTube. iPhone is charging you extra for using their app, I guess, to become a member and pay money or something. I don't get it myself, but they tell me it starts out at $6.99. No, mine is $5. But if you've got an iPhone, that extra $1.99 is what iPhone people, Apple, is charging you to use it. So if you have a problem with that, you need to call your company. You need to call Apple. You need to change to an Android or something. I don't know, but that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the news. I hope you learned a little bit from it, that even though this is a retirement community, or it was at one time, there are problems here. You can get all the happy news by just buying the Happy Paper. Go to the Happy Paper website and read it. There's all the happy news right there. But I want you to know that just because you buy a home in a retirement community, you're not protected as much as you think you are. Things are not as quiet and as decent all the time, everywhere, like you might think there are. There are significant problems here, like allowing Airbnbs. Not everywhere, but they allow Airbnbs in certain areas there. And if you've watched this report, you've seen many, many, many times where there are people just up in arms about it. Now, we don't have a problem in my district that I don't think about, but other districts are having a problem. You need to know about these districts. If you're going to buy a pre-owned home in any of these other districts, you need to know, is there a problem there with Airbnbs? Otherwise, you're going to buy a home next to a party house. I don't think you want that. So with that being said, I'm just going to say, I'm going to get out of here and say, support my sponsors if you can. And when you can, they appreciate your business. I appreciate you supporting them because they support me. And with that, I'll just say, be well, be safe, take care, be aware.
And don't leave that key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.